welcome to DIY with Nancy. Today I'm going to show you how I preserve hot chili peppers in olive oil. Now, the chili peppers that I'm going to be using are chili peppers that I had growing in my yard in a large pot. And wow, did we get a lot of chili peppers this past summer. So I'm going to preserve these. Look how beautiful and red they are. And they're super spicy. My husband and my mom has already had some of these chili peppers and we have so many left over. I'm going to show you how to make this recipe step by step. So stay with me and watch how to preserve hot chili peppers in olive oil step by step. You will need red hot chili peppers. These chili peppers I've grown in my yard. I'm going to wash them thoroughly and dry them. Next, you will need salt for seasoning and white vinegar. These are the ingredients you will need on day one. I'll also list these ingredients in the description box down below. And then I'll show you the ingredients that you'll need on day two. Now I'm going to show you what you need. First, you're going to need a pair of rubber gloves. You'll also need a bowl to place all the cut peppers. I have the chili peppers here that I've washed and dried. And I keep the stem on because I hold on to the stem as I'm cutting them, and it just makes it a lot easier. You also need a good knife, and then I have a bowl for the stems. So I'm going to start off by placing on the gloves, and I'll show you the next step. Once you have your gloves on, you start chopping on the chili pepper. What I'm doing is I'm cutting it really thin. I'm doing this really slow so you can see. I like to cut them thin. You can cut them thicker if you'd like. And what I'm doing also is I'm holding onto the stem so I can get that grip to slice the chili peppers. I'll be including the seeds in this preserved chili peppers, and I'm going to continue cutting right to the end, and all I'll be left with is the stem. You'll see no chili pepper left, and there it is. That's the stem. It really helps holding on to that chili pepper. When you're done, disregard it. You take the chili peppers. I want you to take a look at it. See? Seeds, they're cut thin. Place them in a bowl and on to the next one. I'm going to continue cutting the chili peppers and then I'll show you the next step. Okay everyone, I'm working on the last pepper here. So it took me about 35 minutes to cut all the peppers. Last one. Now once your peppers are all cut up in rounds, you're ready to salt the peppers and place some vinegar. So this is going to be a 2-day process. So I'm going to salt and vinegar, place salt and vinegar on the peppers, and then I'm going to cover it, and then I'm going to wait until tomorrow morning. So Saturday morning, I'm going to wait until Sunday morning to jar the peppers, and of course I'm going to show you that step. So for now, what I'm going to do, place it with salt. So I have 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, and that all depends on the quantity of the peppers that you have. I have about 90 chili peppers, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix it together. Make sure that the peppers are all covered with the seasoning of salt. Give that a stir. That's good. And now I'm going to place the vinegar, and I'm using white vinegar. So I'm going to place the vinegar enough to cover the peppers. So I'm going to pour it in, keep pouring. Now, again, I'm going to give it another stir. Wow, these peppers are hot. Very important, use the gloves if you want to use a mask as well. You know what, it even makes you tear up a little bit, but that's how spicy they are. I've seasoned the peppers with salt and covered it with white vinegar. And now I'm going to wait 24 hours. I'm going to let them soak in here for 24 hours. I'm going to cover it with a tea towel. And I'll show you the next step once the 24 hours are up. And here we are 24 hours later. I'm going to remove the tea towel. I want you to take a look. Look how nice and red these peppers are. You can really smell them as well. Now for day 2, this is the ingredients you'll need and the items as well. So you're going to need extra virgin olive oil. You also need a bowl with a strainer. Here I have 3 small jars, and you're going to need a spoon. So what I'm going to start off by doing is starting to pour all the vinegar through the strainer here. So all I want to end up is with the peppers. So I'm going to run it through the strainer here, make sure all of the vinegar is in the bowl. Leave it there for a little bit, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just set aside the vinegar, but we want to make sure that all the vinegar is out of the peppers. You don't need to dry them or anything. You just want to strain it. So now you have all the peppers strained. You're going to start off by placing them in I have a small little mason jar, and I'm going to start filling them up with the chili peppers, and then I'll show you the next step. So let's start by filling the jars with the peppers. You're going to need this extra virgin olive oil, and I'm going to start filling them with the peppers. Just take the spoon here and just keep filling it. You're going to fill it right to the top, just before the rim, and you're going to continue filling them, just as I'm doing here. I'm going to show you the first one, and then it's the same concept for all of the jars that you're going to be filling with peppers. I want you to have a close-up here. I want you to see where I'm filling the chili peppers up to. All right, and now I'm going to push it down a little bit more. Yeah, I think we're good. Just about the top of the rim, or just before the rim, just like that. I'm going to continue filling the jars, and I'll show you the next step. Now I'm ready for the last and final step. I'm going to fill the olive oil right to the top of the jar. And here is the olive oil. I'm going to fill it into the jar, and you're going to continue filling it right until it covers the chili peppers. You want it right to the top, just as I'm doing here. We're almost there. There we are. It's covered, just like that. You could see that, just covering the chili peppers. And now I'm going to finish filling the other 2 jars. And all there's left for me to do is to seal the jars with the lids, nice and tight. And there you have it, everyone. That's how I preserve hot chili peppers in olive oil. Now, a couple of tips I have for you. Tip number 1, use a pair of gloves. You need to use gloves. These are extremely spicy, and you don't want to handle these chili peppers with your bare hands when you're cutting them. Second tip is these are going to be good to open in a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I like to have the olive oil absorb or the chili peppers rather, absorb the olive oil. And then the olive oil will become like a chili oil because it will be really spicy. So once you open your first jar, if you're removing some of the olive oil and the chili peppers, you want to make sure that the chili peppers are covered with olive oil. So if you have to, top it with a little bit more olive oil on the top. Make sure that the chili peppers are covered. Now, these are going to last, or these are good until next season. They won't last that long. I think they're probably good, and they'll probably last until maybe March or April of next year. And then I'll be ready to plant some fresh chili pepper plants, and then have them grow again. And I'll be doing this all over again next year. So I hope you all enjoyed this recipe for preserving hot chili peppers in olive oil. And if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Take care.